So this book is an attempt to answer this very question. Personally, I've had the opportunity to be associated with Pakistan-India peace processes at least 3 times in my career. In 1997 to 1999 as Director of Foreign Secretary's Office, from 2007 to 2009 as Director General and later Additional Secretary for South Asia, and finally from 2013 to 2017 as Foreign Secretary. What I have discovered from this lifelong experience with Pakistan's India policy is that 2 issues have nearly always impeded any progress towards peace. The first is Jammu and Kashmir dispute, which sits at the very heart of bilateral tensions. The 3rd chapter of the book before you looks at the factors that have contributed to the intractability of this dispute. India's resistance to implement the United Nations Security Council resolutions, abrogation of Kashmir's statehood in 2019, demographic and electoral engineering currently underway in the Indian occupied Kashmir, and the use of excessive force to suppress the Kashmiris' freedom struggle. Khurram Dastagir Sahab has rightly and often described the Indian occupied Kashmir as the most militarized zone of the world. Am I right, sir? I have also explored whether there can be a solution with which all parties, Pakistan, India, China, yes, I include that in that, Kashmiris and international community can live with. The second issue pertains to terrorism that has affected both countries, more so Pakistan than India. India has consistently accused Pakistan of supporting what it calls cross-border terrorism. For its part, Pakistan has complaints that India has not only been sponsoring terrorism in Pakistan through proxies, but has also been carrying out target assassinations inside Pakistan. Who would know it better than General Amir Riaz, who was DGMO at a very, very difficult time of counter-terrorism efforts, and who was later the commander of Southern Command and has seen it all. I've examined several terrorist incidents. Once you go through the book, you will find that took place in India, for which initially Pakistan was blamed, but later on it transpired that internal Indian elements were involved. The point here is that while the findings took many, many years to come out, damage had been caused to the reputation of Pakistan. While Kashmir and terrorism are issues that must be addressed, along with a host of others like trade, climate, cultural ties, etc., I also learned through my inquiry that an overarching obstacle to peace in the region is India's priority for strategic dominance of the region, or even the creation of a united India or Akhand Bharat. Now, this right-wing fantasy of a Hindu nation in the subcontinent was demonstrated by a mural map that was installed in the new building of the Indian Parliament some 2 years ago. In that context, it appears that Pakistan is viewed in India as the chief obstacle to this particular goal. This policy approach by India has taken a more aggressive form in the recent past, particularly in the last decade, where we saw kinetic aggressions against Pakistan in September 2016, February 2019, and most recently in May 2025. The 4-day war in May 2025 has profoundly impacted the strategic calculus of all powers involved in South Asia. I am sure you must have heard, if not read, of the book that Mr. Solanki has co-authored, The War That Changed Everything. The title says it all. This book also contains a chapter on the May 2025 standoff. The two countries are now in the face of their relationship, which I term as cold silence and growing public hostility. Yet, as Ambassador Jawhar Salim mentioned very rightly, in the midst of this growing mutual hostility and mistrust, I believe there are enough good men and women in both countries who cherish peace based on mutual respect and shared prosperity. This book is for them. It is also for academics like Dr. Arshad Salim Hashmi, the many observers, students, researchers, and readers who wish to understand why one of the world's most important bilateral relationships oscillates between dialogue and deadlock. The first chapter of the book looks at how Muslim and Hindu nationalism emerged in the subcontinent, while the last chapter places on record considerable work already done over the years to forge peaceful and cooperative relations. The kind of agreements that we've signed, the confidence building measures, and a host of other measures that were adopted. Should there be a change of heart on the Indian side for peaceful relations with Pakistan, the ideas contained in the last chapter can provide a solid foundation. This book is not my memoir, and I think Ambassador Jawhar rightly alluded to that, or perhaps was it the moderator, I don't exactly recall. That was Diplomatic Footprints. But this book is not episodal. It is evidence-based research and draws heavily from insights of practitioners, diplomats, scholars, and analysts who have spent years studying and shaping this discourse. Some of them are actually sitting in this hall and also on this podium. I must also recognize Mubin Ahmed, my eldest son, who once again designed the cover of my book, as he did for Diplomatic Footprints, and my son Samir, who edited the book. He has a knack for doing so. I must also recognize here my publisher, Book Corner, which Ambassador Tariq Zamir introduced to me, who published in a record time and a high quality end product. Let me conclude with the words that appear in the preface. That road to peace is long and uneven, but it is not closed. The past may be fractured and the future may be uncertain, but between the two lies a fragile space where dialogue can still lead to something better. This book is my modest attempt and contribution in keeping that hope alive. Thank you very much once again for honoring us and for gracing this occasion. Thank you.